Your soul has always recognized the reality of who you are, holding on to that insight patiently, even if you were only partly aware of this essential truth. However, today marks a watershed moment, a spiritual awakening that will bring this fact to your attention. It's as if a light has been switched on inside you, bringing with it a power that some people around you have sensed and maybe even feared. In truth, their desperation has only increased, and they are battling to recapture the authority they believe is slipping away. They're seeking for ways to reclaim control of your future, hoping to rekindle the bonds that formerly held power over your life. Don't give up hope. The selected one for you is on the path to complete freedom and satisfaction. Think for a moment. What does it mean to be completely aware of who you are? Walk with the understanding that you have been chosen by God. Jeremiah 1:5 acts as a reminder. I was aware of your existence even before I gave birth to you. I placed you aside. This refers to the divine calling that has been in your life from the beginning. Today is the day when this calling becomes tangible, undeniable, and unstoppable. Your destiny is rising inside you with irresistible enthusiasm. Receiving this letter marks a vital step forward. There will be 7 signage along the way. Divine markers are placed along your route to guide and protect you. These signals will serve as a reminder of who and what you are, protecting yourself against any force that attempts to detour or change your route. Are you ready to recognize and appreciate these clues as God's confirmation of your chosen purpose? Every scheme, hidden trap, and web of mayhem woven with unseen hands to hold you back will be undone by the end of this film. The shackles that bound you will break, melting into shadows in the light of truth. You have already defeated these forces, as if they were striving to surround you with walls of fear and confinement. And as you walk away with your heart lifted and full of hope in God's plan, you'll see that the traps they set have only captured themselves. Isaiah 5,417. It claims that no weapon created against you will be successful, and that you will deny any accusations hurled against you. This is divine assurance that every tool of chaos they unleashed has turned against them. The obligations they thought would hold you down, they must now rely on themselves. You've picked one at your leisure as you go on. Remember that you are not bound by their games or limits. You are surrounded by God's love and protection, victorious over all plans and strategies. If you feel the power of this message, please type "our guys" in the comments box as a declaration of faith in your chosen route. Allow this to be a testament to your confidence in God's protection and plan for your life. God's chosen ones must keep track of their bent $100 to guarantee that you are selected. Your silence now shouts louder than any words you could say, with a ferocity they never expected. There comes a time when the importance of their words and actions evaporates, leaving them humble before the strength that has developed inside you. You've become a great conundrum that they can't solve, and every effort they make to reclaim control shows their own inadequacies, exposing the cracks they're desperately trying to conceal. This distance is not just physical or emotional. It's a spiritual shield that shields you, an impenetrable barrier built by the universe to keep you safe from their ill purpose and hidden agendas. Have you ever experienced this degree of protection before? A belief that you are protected by something larger than yourself. Some 91 individuals contemplated making promises, such as saying he will cover you with his feathers and shield you with his wings. His allegiance will be your shield and rampart. This barrier is not only silence, it is an internal energy that counteracts any negativity directed at you. They sense a shift in energy but are unable to access it. Their impotence scares them. You're no longer the person they thought they could influence. You've transformed into someone beyond their understanding, and they're now forced to confront a world they no longer understand. You remain firm in the midst of the storm, unmovable. They feel the force of your new nature, a strength rooted in a profound awakening. This is neither a retreat or submission. It is indicative of your tremendous interior growth. According to Isaiah 4031, those who wait for the Lord will regain their power. They will ascend with eagle-like wings. They will run without becoming tired. They will walk without fainting. Your serenity is like an eagle's wings, lifting you above the tumult and allowing you to conquer the chaos and noise around you. They now see a force shaped not by wrath or rage, but by resilience and energy, which has slipped entirely beyond their reach. You're no longer involved in their petty games. Instead, you symbolize strength and divine grace. This experience teaches them a crucial lesson. They have created a force that cannot be reversed, a power acquired from their attempts to restrict you. Every attempt they make to upset you just strengthens your power, increases your light, and reinforces the barrier that is now protecting you. Consider a heavenly essence barrier that surrounds God's chosen in VSAT, all while being very strong. This shield is more than a mere barrier. It is a force that permeates every facet of existence, protecting the selected one's body and soul. It is so strong that even the most malevolent force cannot defeat it. Every wicked purpose is rejected when this invisible armor, a layer of protection that may be felt rather than seen, is encompassed in supernatural strength and touched by God's actual hand. It is an auspicious presence. Ever attentive and steadfast, it engulfs those it protects. Jesus addressed this authority, saying, "My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me. I offer them eternal life. They'll never die. Nobody can remove them from my hands." John 10:27-28, God guarantees eternal security to those who choose Him. It is a covenant of divine protection, guaranteeing that no evil creature may harm their spirits. The chosen are not only protected, but also guided. This barrier evolves into a source of divine illumination, illuminating their path and ensuring that no darkness may penetrate or obstruct their passage. Regardless of how deeply evil penetrates, the brilliance of this protection repels it, rendering all hazards useless in its presence. This barrier is inconceivably scary to the forces of evil. It serves as an insurmountable barrier and a constant reminder of heavenly might. As stated in Psalm 8411, the Lord is a shield for those who live in integrity, offering security but underlining that this is not common protection. It can resist both physical and psychic threats. Every attempt to penetrate the minds and hearts of God's people is greeted with an impenetrable barrier. When evil spirits approach, they are met not just by a wall, but also with a flaming barrier that renders their attacks ineffective. This sacred shield depicts a line that no darkness may cross. Echoing Peter 589, warn that your opponent, the devil, prowls about like a roaring lion, looking for someone to feed oppose him by being firm in your convictions. This supernatural protection illustrates the strength bestowed upon individuals who stay firm in faith. Such a shield is not arbitrary nor unjustified. It is the result of devotion and loyalty. The chosen, by their devotion to God, become even closer to Him, and He strengthens them, making them impervious to the forces of evil. Every action they perform leaves a trace of God's presence with them. This protection is more than just an abstract promise. It is a living, breathing force that keeps God present wherever people go. They are identified by a holy light that lights their path, indicating to everyone that God's might surrounds and protects them in all situations. Activate your feeling of faith and purpose right now. Stand steadfast, knowing that you are protected and guided. Every step is evidence of God's everlasting presence with you. The first sign is the tangible weight of their emotional distress, a tumult that seems to whirl about you despite your distance from them as you go through their universe, seemingly carefree and unguarded. They nourish themselves on your brightness, like shadows feeding on your unshielded vitality. They were attracted by the pure warmth you radiated. But that moment has passed. You've withdrew, concentrating inward to protect this unique energy, fortifying yourself like waves forming in the ocean's depths. Your absence has left an emptiness that they are unable to fill, exposing the hollowness inside their own darkness. Spirits, former colleagues, people who formerly clung to you under the pretense of friendship now sit in empty rooms. I can sense the vacuum you've left behind, a hole that exposes the absence of your soul's impact. Conversations that were once filled with camaraderie have been tainted by jealousy, and their once dazzling gazes have faded, replaced by shadows of resentment. They attempt to replicate the power and brightness you exuded, seeking to reclaim the sense of significance they once had from your presence. Nevertheless, their efforts are ineffectual and insufficient. Imitations are empty, echoes of what you represented at a moment of frustration. One of them lashes out, breaking the mirror that had previously displayed their facade of control, just as the glass shatters. A symbol emerges behind it, one that serves as a reminder of the connections you have severed, rather than a mark that affirms the path you have chosen. They are unable to access this domain. This insignia acts as a reminder of the boundaries that they are unable to transcend, as well as a representation of the cycle they have inadvertently created for themselves. Now that you have the power, they know they will never be able to attain your level of comprehension, strength, or calm. The energy they formerly possessed so freely is now beyond their reach. A goal is as far and inaccessible as the heavens themselves. Every attempt they make to regain control exposes them to the widening void inside their own hearts. A silent but steadfast testament to the protective force that now surrounds and guards you. This path is arduous, especially when faced with obstacles that threaten to shatter the peace you've achieved. If you want to follow along as we explore deeper truths, please subscribe and join us on this journey of faith and endurance. Together, we explore the power of light, standing firm against forces that want to draw us back. The second clue is the chilling gap that now exists, signifying a big void in their lives since they no longer seek their approval or meet their expectations. You've created a tremendous division, one that is felt much more profoundly than words can convey. The void you've created is vast and terrible, and it has become a haunting presence in their lives, infusing them with a palpable unease. Your silence, once unthinkable, now reverberates around them, locking them in a life defined by their own disregarded shadows. Consider the concept of a former spouse who believed they had influence over you. They are now walking through their own affluent world, restless and disconnected, as if imprisoned in a cage of their own making. The joys that formerly symbolized their dominion over you now seem hollow. The once warm environment has turned cold and unpleasant. They kept looking at their phones, waiting for a message that never arrived. Each minute lengthens the arc of separation. The air around them grows heavy, with an icy silence piercing through their life. The room is filled with shadows, and the walls that once symbolized stability now tremble and quake, revealing a presence that reflects their own hidden fears and worries coming from the depths to confront them. This ghost is more than simply a person. It represents every unspoken flaw insecurity, and fear that they suppressed while with you. The voices they hear now are sharp and accusatory, revealing the weaknesses and dependence they had previously disguised with your presence. Your absence has become a powerful mirror, displaying their own vulnerability with brutal honesty and sorrow. They toss their phone through the screen, causing it to crack. However, the voices get louder and more insistent. Knowledge sinks mercilessly. Losing you has exposed them to their own anxieties, locking them in a world of their own making, where every comfort has become cold and every familiar thing has lost its warmth. They hunger for the light you once provided, which raised them beyond themselves. Unfortunately, it is no longer available. They find themselves wandering amid the murky wreckage of a life built on illusions, desperately wishing for what they cannot have. The chasm you left has been their last reckoning. A subtle but unwavering solitude that will not go away, pushing them to face the truth of what they have lost. The final sign is your hidden yet powerful transformation. A profound transformation that generates tremors in those who previously sought to compete with or control you. This metamorphosis is more than just an outward transformation, it is also an awakening, a connection to the ancient streams of divine truth that flow throughout the universe. You have tapped into a knowledge beyond earthly understanding, allowing you to transcend with a new brilliance and ethereal grace, signifying that you no longer share the same degree of limitations as others do. This change isn't only visible, it has a significant effect on others around you, leaving them uncomfortable and full with unsettling jealousy. Consider a colleague or friend who formerly thrived on competition. Someone who used ambiguity or competition to keep you under their grip. They are now standing in the shadows, jealous of your rebirth. Your transformation aura is visible, and it seems like a brilliant fire to them. One who brightens your day while leaving others to their own issues. Every time they see you, they are reminded of this incredible shift in energy that they cannot understand or duplicate. They stare at you with envy. Unfortunately, realizing that the influence they formerly had over you was an illusion generated by jealousy, they attempt to mimic your path, expecting to reproduce your advancement by just copying the surface of your transformation. They try to emulate the posture, grace, or energy they sense in you. However, they do so without recognizing the depth and magnitude of the sacrifice required. Their actions are only gestures. Without the profound spiritual underpinnings that drive your movement, people get caught in a fruitless pursuit, attempting to capture what cannot be forced or manufactured. Their impotence is their undoing, as each attempt just underlines the contrast between the surface-level imitation they seek and the genuine spiritual growth you have embraced as they see you move with the tranquil assurance of someone walking in divine harmony. They are reminded of the emptiness in their own lives, a pause that develops with each stride forward. Your invisible transformation reflects what they lack while simultaneously reminding them of the divine protection and wisdom that guides your path. Your transformation acts as a barrier. They are unable to bridge a level of knowledge that is absolutely out of reach as they grasp at this enormous insight you have obtained in their frantic situation. Their intentions go against them. They do rituals and copy prayers without true respect or understanding. These activities will offer them access to the person you've become. They light candles and sing old lines, hoping to catch a glimpse of your light. However, they use language that they do not understand. The flames extinguish, throwing them into a far deeper darkness than before. A stillness that just reflects their own flaws and inability to succeed. The Bible warns us, don't be duped, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sowed, Galatians 6:27. Only individuals with open hearts and pure intents may access this sacred knowledge, which is guarded by the light. Their attempts to demand admission only lead them farther away from the knowledge they seek. Faced with the harsh truth that their efforts have revealed, they must confront their own emptiness, standing impotent in the face of an unstoppable force. This transformation you are experiencing is more than a change. It's a magnificent awakening that takes you to new heights of spiritual consciousness. According to Isaiah 4031, those who trust in the Lord shall be rejuvenated in strength. They'll fly like eagles. You saw above the growth of your spirit, just as an eagle flies beyond earthly obstacles, an understanding that cannot be altered or compromised. This inner growth forms a protective wall around you, a haven fortified by elegance and resilience that deflects any attempts to bring you down from a distance. They see your light as a larger, unquenchable flame, which only fuels their jealousy and hunger while they remain static. This transformation is a journey of light unhindered by the forces of darkness. John 1:5 discusses this steady strength. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it. The wisdom inside you, gained from the limitless depths of the divine, is as constant and pure as it is powerful. Those who attempt to catch this light will only find emptiness. They lack the honesty and purity required to follow this path. 9911 taught us that the good road leads to wisdom. This path is only open to those who seek it with a humble heart, while those with ulterior motives are halted by an invisible barrier that they cannot overcome. You move with strength and purpose that originate from a source beyond our comprehension. The Lord is my light and Savior. Who should I be afraid of? Psalm 27 is 1. As you develop, your spirit becomes a sanctuary, a hallowed refuge that no force can enter. Because you are rooted in this beautiful insight, you exude unwavering calm. You gain not just knowledge, but also unrivaled strength, getting deeply rooted in unrestricted freedom and reaching new heights on a lucky, safe, and invincible journey. The fourth sign is a recurring fear of being imprisoned in the past, a dread that eats away at their core as they see you go to places beyond their reach. With each step you take forward, they are left behind, reminded of dreams they once had but never achieved. This continual contrast frightens them, for you have become the living embodiment of what they want to be, a vision of promise that they no longer understand. You are no longer simply a memory of the past, but a glimpse of what they might have been if they had not been suffocated by their own limitations. Now, each step of your growth serves as a sharp reminder of the future they abandoned. They battle for stability as their sense of self-assurance crumbles under them. Consider an old mentor who once admired your successes and rejoiced in the brightness you brought into their lives. Your win was a community effort that brought them to light. However, when your strength and understanding exceeds theirs, that shared light becomes an act inside them. What was once a source of pride is now a scar, a symbol of jealousy that becomes deeper with each stride forward. Proverbs 27:4 addresses this internal struggle, saying that rage is cruel and fury is like a torrent. But who can avoid jealousy? They can't tolerate seeing you achieve the heights they once dreamed. With each passing day, their admiration fades, replaced by an anger that silently erodes their peace. This internal battle demonstrates how holding on to the past without moving forward may become a burden, a prison that holds people back. When people see you standing up and out of the shadows, they are captivated. The contrast between forgetting about the past and concentrating on the future is terrible. I press on toward my goal. Philippians 3:13-14. Your ascending path serves as a reminder of a choice they failed to make. The choice to go beyond prior successes in order to continue growing and striving for greater strength serves as a reminder that happiness comes from moving forward rather than reflecting on the past. Each step you take indicates your tenacity and growth, which they missed as evidence of their unsatisfied aspirations. They watch with a growing sense of futility, groping for memories while terrified of a future they can no longer control. You illustrate the costs of failing to adjust by staying on track, of holding too tightly to former accomplishments. Your success is both a personal triumph and a good lesson. A modest cry for individuals who dwell in the shadows of their past. Each step underscores the fact that the true significance of life is in moving forward rather than clinging to the past. In their growing desperation, they search for ancient wisdom. These ancient writings whisper predictions about the rise of the chosen and the end of old stagnating ways. Each symbol and poetry seem to symbolize their own hidden concerns. Casting shadows over the past they cling to and foreseeing a future in which everything they cherish will go away. Desperation drives them to tear at the pages, hoping to erase the information they can no longer hide. However, each word and symbol is burnt in their minds, producing a sense of dread that they cannot shake as they grapple with the seriousness of these findings. They hold out one last hope, pulling you back into their crumbling world in the hopes of regaining control of you. But your silence speaks louder than any words. This stillness becomes an unbreakable barrier, a powerful testament to your progress and the information they no longer have. For them, your silence is a huge distance, an echo of confidence and resolve that they cannot comprehend. They realize that what they once thought was their power was really a feeble facade that has now shattered under the weight of your absence. They strive in vain to rebuild some type of power, but are greeted only with passive protest, a strong indicator that you have gone beyond their reach. Your silence now represents a life beyond their understanding, a new path that they are unable to pursue as they strive to break free from the shackles of their past. They are unable to usher in a new era, one in which they no longer wield power. The future, which was once within reach, has drifted away, leaving them alone, drowned in a dark loneliness that worsens by the day. In their attempts to hold on to the shadows of yesteryear, they watch as the present passes them by, leaving them alone as rooted remains of a world that no longer exists. According to Proverbs 418, the conduct of the upright is like the early sun, shining brilliantly till the full light of day. Your light-filled journey illuminates the path ahead, whilst their stagnated existence fades into darkness. Their efforts to bring you back are futile. Each endeavor serves as a reminder of the strength you have gained. You have become a beacon, a testament to what it means to grow and adapt while others remain in the background. As Ecclesiastes 3.1 tells us, every purpose under God has its own season and timing. You have started a season of advancement when others are still in the previous season, hoping for a time in which you have continued on your unshakable road. They are left to face the inner emptiness caused by a life spent clinging to Scripture that is no longer relevant. We read that the elderly had died. Behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:17. You embody this transformation, a living symbol of renewal, as the winds of change envelop you with strength they cannot contain. Those who formerly depended on your presence now find themselves like trees in the winter. They are unable to break free from the past because they have lost their leaders and cannot exist without you. And in their endeavor to keep upright, they fall, much like leaves swept away by the wind of your growth. For others, the profound wisdom you've gained shines softly like a lamp. They can see. However, it will never reach a horizon that pulls you forward while leaving them behind. Their hold over the spirits of the past dwindles As they strive to expand into a new world. They are worried by a warning they previously ignored. Do not adhere to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. This shift is not a straightforward one. It's a flowing alignment with a divine river that takes you ever higher to those who are still shackled by the consequences of their actions. It's an uncomfortable force, a reminder of all they've accumulated and accepted. Each step you take symbolizes the freedom that others cannot comprehend. They are revealing the flaws in their own lives. They rummage through the libraries of old wisdom, looking for a way to block your advancement. However, it pushes them to confront their own limitations. As you continue, each stride becomes a sign of rejuvenation. Your movement serves as a reminder of freedom that is beyond their control. Your transformation is a symbol that transcends time and space, a light that will always be beyond their grasp. Your journey, like the dawn breaking after a long night, reveals not just your personal growth, but also the huge gap in their own lives. In a world that relies on old techniques, you have become a beacon of something new, unstoppable, and rooted in something bigger. And as Isaiah 61 says, "Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you in this new chapter." You are enlightened by a living message of renewal that they cannot halt or hold back. The sixth symptom is a painful but profound awakening, a sense of impotence that they can no longer ignore. For so long, they privately worried that they would never reach the heights you are capable of, since you fully accept your own truth. This awareness encourages people to confront their limitations, the obstacles they unknowingly built around their potential. There was always something about you that they couldn't understand or replicate. A light that unexpectedly reveals their own shadows, putting their self-imposed limitations into stark relief. Consider a friend or family member with whom you've had several moments and who discreetly imitated your gestures. They are now in a quiet chamber, surrounded only by memories. Dust falls on sentimental boxes, mementos from shared experiences, and murmured dreams in solitude. They reach for a collection of old photographs, trying to find solace in the memories of their shared history. However, as they go through each shot, following the margins of each frame, a startling realization dawns on them. Your previously recognized picture is now concealed, fading out of each image as if you were never present. Their face is plainly apparent in all photographs, but yours is gone, leaving just a ghostly blank. This understanding chills them, as if no matter how hard they attempt to recollect the warmth of prior relationships, they would fail to comprehend the presence that has now transcended them. Their grasping fingers trace the empty spaces in each picture. Realizing that your changes are carrying you to a realm where they cannot pursue you because you are no longer constrained by the prior sense of inadequacy, which was previously hidden underneath attempts to compete or get near, now acts as a stark reminder of their own limitations. Scripture teaches us in John 8:12 that I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in the dark, but will always have the light of life. Your path has illuminated the road forward. They will be unable to perceive the light unless they undergo significant personal transformation. Your presence, which was once anchored, is now a mirror of their own potential, from which they cannot escape. This causes them to see that you are more than just another friend. You were on a spiritual journey, a call that was bringing you beyond the confines of their world. This is their last meeting with their own ordinariness. They are left to ponder the depths of their own path, wondering whether they would ever be able to walk in the same light. However, every attempt to grasp what is beyond their reach is met with the brutal emptiness of their own limits. Your development is both a reminder of what may have been and a sign of your inner strength. And as Isaiah 61 says, "Rise and shine, for your light has arrived, and the Lord's glory has risen on you." This emptiness, like a slight echo, reveals a truth they have long dreaded. They will never completely understand you, and you are not meant to go the same path. While they remain entrenched in the familiar, your ascent to a level beyond their reach creates an invisible but surmountable barrier. You've climbed to a world of higher awareness, a point where basic observation falls short, as shown by the massive tattoo on 1.9, where Paul speaks about being filled with the knowledge of God's will and all spiritual insight and understanding. Your awareness is beyond their reach, leaving them feeling lost in the echoes of the past. Old partnerships have dissolved into foggy memories, bonds that have long been severed. Your progress will cause you to rise to a higher level of spirit, and knowledge intensifies their own stagnation, culminating in a dramatic contrast between your pathways. They are left behind, bound by the constraints of their own choices. Your journey ascends, exposing the route to an increasingly distant future. Imagine them connected by these old echoes, straining to keep up with an unspoken competition, only to find that each exertion pulls them further into the shadows of envy. They are confronted with a distressing fact, one that weighs heavily on their soul. You were never meant to stay in their circle. You were always lured to something more. Your journey is unique to you. This awareness severs the last threads of connection with the weight of the revelation. You disclose the abyss that exists just between you, leaving them under the shadow of unfulfilled promise, knowing they can only watch as you climb. In Philippians 3:14, Paul writes, "I press on toward the goal for the prize of God's call in Christ Jesus." Your path symbolizes this sentiment, a relentless pursuit of divine destiny, leaving behind others who reject or are unable to climb. This fact changes their perspective, forcing them to understand that your path was never intended for them. And as they sit with this awareness, their jealousy transforms into a constant reminder of the heights they will never achieve. A silent reminder of the unbridgeable chasm between you. The sixth sign is their lack of control, which exists or outweighs their helplessness and symbolizes a loss of authority that previously influenced your emotions after they established a flow based on your permission and dependence on their commands. But now that you've broken free from their grip and established your own path as you ascend in your orbit, their strength fades, making them nervous. Consider an older authority person who followed in your footsteps, steering your career in the right direction. Your yearning for them kindled that power, which now falls to their fingertips like grains of sand. As you boldly go without their authorization, this circumstance creates an existential problem for them. They sat in an office festooned with authority symbols. Their desks are packed with outdated contracts, sealed documentation, and symbols representing all they formerly owned. But now these symbols are fragile memories that break in their hands as they touch them, morphing into relics that crumble as the air fills with the odor of burning and their former sensation of control evaporates like smoke. They want to reclaim their old dominance, but it is already too late. Your freedom has stripped them of their authority, and this fact is developing like a wound inside them, a consequence that emerges silently from the office window. Its sharp gaze pierces their souls, a being that puts everything into doubt. In a moment of silence, this is not just a bird. It's a gentle warning about a coming tipping point. Its glare pierces their brains, and they realize the invisible hand of the universe is keeping them away from you. A protective barrier surrounding you makes them impotent. The illusion of power they held too tightly has evaporated, leaving them with just their own agonizing futility. They ruled after losing power, which represented the end of the kingdom. The weight of the truth plagues them, leaving them to their inner worlds. For them, confronting the loss of control is like standing on the edge of a dark abyss, realizing that they can no longer lead you as they used to, that they cannot tamper with your life to shape it, produces a dreadful emptiness within them. Remember this Bible passage. Pride leads to calamity, and an arrogant attitude leads to failure. Proverbs 1618, this revelation demonstrates that their pride and arrogance were all delusions. Nothing remains of their previous power over you. Regardless matter what they do, their hands are empty, and they are in a panic as they attempt to restore their lost power. Each step leads them deeper. The symbols of authority, old papers and sealed documents vanish before their eyes. The insignia of authority dissipate like smoke from their fingers. Even the best techniques, as recounted in the Bible, become futile. Isaiah 29, 1214. This acts as a warning to them, a reminder that the power they formerly had was a transient shadow. And when global truth meets this power, nothing remains. The growing helplessness among them topples an old monarchy in their hearts. Symbols forming around them signify that they have lost everything. The owl sitting outside is immobile, like a harbinger of a storm. While their fear of the truth deepens, the Bible text declares that the Lord is my strength and aid. You will not let the upright be shaken. Psalm 118:6 vibrates with them like a reverberation. This passage now appears to them not just as words, but also as evidence of the armor that has been built around you, so that no power may reach their own impotence, restricted to their own limits, and no longer approach your boundless rise. With each attempt, they sink further into their own shadow. They dive deeper with each attempt or race they make to keep access to you. They are destined to fade in the shadows they create. Meanwhile, your light is glowing brightly, as you can see. The silence around you transforms into a calm victory, mirroring the strength inside you. According to the Bible, the path of the righteous is like the early sun, shining brightly till the full light of day. Proverbs 418. Your path is bright, whilst theirs fades with every passing day. Those who previously planned against you with cunning traps and covert agendas are now exposed and powerless. They fade into obscurity, with only the bitterness of their own traps to haunt them, haunted by the same faults they used to gain control of others. In contrast, your road has brought you to the edge of new beginnings, and the light you carry is brighter than ever, like a fortress of resolve and purpose. This light has turned into more than just a beacon. It is also a symbol of strength for others to imitate, uncompromising and unreachable by those who formerly obscured it. Every day is a stinging reminder of what they might have been, as well as a disconcerting reminder of the reality that is just beyond their grasp. They see it. They are well aware of this, yet it fades, leaving them alone in the shadows of their own choices. But while others fall, you remain strong, confident in your capacity to overcome any task difficulty. The universe seems to have picked your side, uniting energies to propel you higher, empowering you with purpose and endurance. With each stride, you gain strength. You are coming closer to attaining your goal. The shadows may remain, but they are the faded echoes of those who tried to keep you back. However, you have chosen to go into the light of possibilities, guided by an inner strength with no bounds. As we approach to the end of this incredible journey, may this message serve as a reminder of the specific path God has selected for you. You were chosen, summoned to go above the limitations that others may impose on you. Every step you take upward affirms your goal and inspires those who are ready to begin on their own spiritual journey. Accept this call with gratitude and confidence. knowing that you are never alone. The divine is with you, guiding you through each challenge and blessing. If this message has affected you, please express your appreciation by sending a super thanks and like the video. Subscribe to God Connection and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience, opinions, and presence here are deeply valued, and we are collaborating to build a strong and meaningful community. Thank you for participating in this excursion. May God's serenity, love, and protection surround you as you soar. Amen.